So today, what I'm doing is I'm cutting here. Let me show you real quick. So this here is the piece that I had left over from where the train goes around, where the ore boat and the ore dock is. Now, what I actually wanted to do, so originally what I wanted to do was just have this, where this goes all the way around, single track, nothing else. I was just going to make this look like a seawall, kind of like Matewan, West Virginia has a flood wall that goes all the way around. That's what I was going to do. But I ended up changing my mind because I do want to go with the foot-high shelf. So I need a place to start that run. So my original plan was to have this inside track here that was going to be for the train station. I was going to have the track come next to this here with another board and a track that came up and terminated here. That way I could have this long stage area for a passenger train. Well, then I thought, if I take that and go all the way around and make it this wide, I can start my 2% grade up. And by the time I get to this point here, or actually that point there, I would be at 4 inches. Now, I didn't want to be at 4 inches there. I actually wanted to be at 4 inches back farther so I could start the shelf. So what I then thought of was, if I come down here and I put another track on this side, not just this side where the station's going to be, we'll put another track here. I can start my incline here, and I've already got 2 feet, so I'm already up. If I widen this, I can do it on the inside, and maybe, tell me what you think, maybe it will give me, as it's going up, it'll kind of give some scenery. Maybe I can put like a sloped hill or something. Well, then I came up with idea number 2054. If I go with 2 widths of this and I come out to here, I can make all the way. What I can actually do then with something that wide, I probably won't be as wide here, but as it comes up to here, it's going to start getting wider as it makes its turn. Because what I'm thinking in my mind is, maybe later down the road, I'll want to add another track that goes up. Maybe I don't want to do that. I want to have enough room to put scenery so it's not just a flat wall where you have the track here and then the track's climbing and just a wall. I don't think that's gonna look right. So I'm thinking if I come out far enough, I don't know. Because I want to make sure that the track down here doesn't get covered too much. I don't know how that's gonna look. So I've got some issues here, but I'm thinking with the width, it should look pretty good. So we'll see. We're going to go back out and cut another piece because we're going to mock all this up and see what it looks like. Okay, so now that I got these pieces cut, so what I did was, these are the pieces that were cut that go around, and these are a lot wider, obviously, than this piece was. I'm not really sure how wide this was. I think this was like 2.5, 3 inches maybe. So yeah, that's that. Let me turn this air off. Anyway, so again, I'm going to be putting some first strip here. Probably be doing something a little bit wider because we're going to need obviously some the inclines. I've got 2% inclines coming, so that's going to be 16 feet. So I'm hoping that the first incline successfully is going to start right around in there. Now that's just a piece of one, so that's not a whole incline, but that's where it's going to start. And then it's just going to come all the way down here and then around this. So what my plan is, let me know if anybody has any other suggestions or whatever would be easier. So the reason I made it this wide, even like wider than what I need, is because I can put this incline, of course it'll bend around the corner, but I also have room for another one. Just in case, not saying I would actually go that route, but if I wanted to put another track. What I do want to do is at this point, I think it's going to come up something like maybe even that high at that point. So what I'm thinking is if it's out here, if I have like a slope or something in there, I can put some kind of seam. Because like here, I don't really have, let me show you. I don't really have like a lot of room here in between. If you look, it's pretty close. It's tight. So here, if this was to go around like this, I've got a good space in there. Probably 3-4 inches. So that's the plan. I'm going to get this stuff glued up. That way it's there. It's going to sit until I get my inclines. Today is Friday. I just ordered them, so they should be in next week. I'm working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so I'll be back at it on Thursday. Probably gluing all that stuff in. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this board up. That goes all the way here. I'm also going to put the other board. That's for the staging or just extra run track for the coach cars. Yeah, for that. So, yeah, there we are. So let's see what happens. All right, so welcome back. I'm Dave, and this here is the turnaround where the ore dock is going to be, the Hewlett unloader, and the 8-foot long ore boat. Now, I had a dilemma of trying to figure out how to get up another level. And what I thought was, if I could start from back there and gradually start the incline and come up, if I can come up around here on the inside, I can give the outside some perspective of like a mountain scene or something as the train is going up. So, not sure if this is going to work. This is going to be some like cuts of video I'm going to put together. So comment below if this just doesn't look right. This is going to take a while to do. So let's just get to it. So as you can see, I've got these 2x4s cut. I can't remember what they were. I think 7.5 inches tall. So they had to be 7.5 inches tall because there's parts of my layout that's 7.5 inches, or actually 8 inches taller. But when you put the top board on, that gives you the 8 inches. So I need to figure out how to go up a foot instead of using a helix, go up a foot, but use this as like the start and the back wall as the rest. So I kind of set these here a little bit, and what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what we've got down here. So we're going to set these up first, and then we're going to get to my dilemma down here. So I've got 3 of these pieces cut to the radius that I need. And I feel like it's going to work the best like this. If I butt it here, this will give me a chance to run a solid board all the way this direction, down this way, along the bridges to create the straightaway, because the rise starts way down there. So, just figuring this out, I want to be able to get these pieces kind of like this. And then the last piece right here. Kind of, sort of like that. Okay. So what that does is it gives me my flat area. Now, my flat area let me get, okay, here we go. Here's a piece of riser, okay? So, my flat area, here's my upper main line here. So what I want to do is I've got a box that just came. We're going to see what's in that in a minute. We got a box of a bunch of these, and it's the 2%, so it's 16 feet, goes up 4 inches. So obviously I need 3 of those to get 12 feet. But, so the reason that this is so wide, I don't even know how wide it is, but it's wide. 6 inches. This is not 6 inches. So, but what I want to do is I want to put it on the farthest inside of this board. That way, the space I have here to the track, let's say down the road, I change my mind and I want to add a second line or a third line, whatever you want to call it, a third set of tracks. I can be able to do that here. I've got plenty of room. But in the meantime, I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is this, by the time it gets to this point, it's probably already 2 inches high. So with it being about 2 inches high, it's going to give me some type of terrain here that I can do the transition between these 2 pieces of track. That way, when you walk through this door, you're going to see this sloping, this transition where the train is climbing and just little bits of stuff. Maybe even like a dirt road or like a dirt trail where it's just a trail, hiking trail or something. I don't know. Tell me what you think. But I've got probably 3 inches of space. 4 max. Right here. So, I have to get this glued down. This here, I got to get this glued down. We're going to get rid of this. I got to get these boards glued down. I can glue these, but I do have a small dilemma. So let's look at my track dilemma real quick. So, as you can see, we have 3 tracks here that actually cross this main line that goes all the way around. So this is the lower main line. Now over here we have another crossing. All right, so that's 4 altogether. That's going to service what is back in this area on the right side of the door when you walk in. So what I need to do is make sure that here, that these tracks are not going to run into these 2x4s here. So, yeah, this one's going to hit. So this is where it gets kind of tricky. All right, so right now I'm gonna put you right here, right where you're at, so you can see what I'm looking at. So this track here it's fine. It's fine to get through this area. It doesn't look like there's any issues whatsoever. So we now know that we are good to glue all the way this way. So we can glue from here back. Now, I have a dilemma here is trying to figure out where can I be to not interfere with this other track. Can I put, so this is a standard piece of straight track. And then if I put this turn piece, it's going to clash with this. So these two pieces of track, these suckers are way too close. See what I'm looking at? That's not going to work. So I need to figure out if I cut a smaller piece, can I turn this, or should I just take this and move it here? That way, not really worrying about anything. I feel like I'm worrying too much. If I just do this, I feel like we're good there. But then we've got the, oh, shit. Okay, there we go. So, other issue is this other track. Now, we've got this track here is obviously running into this 2x4. So I need to figure out how to position this 2x4. And at the same time, I've got this crossing here. So this is my dilemma right now. We're going to try to make this work. All right. I'll take a straight piece of track like this. That's going to come through just like that. But the problem's going to be all right, so I do have a piece of track that's it has a pretty sharp curve to it, but it's not enough. So and this is already glued down pretty tight. So I may have to try to take this and move it out. All right, so let's see if we can take this. We're going to see if we can get this 2x4 back here out. It's only glued with regular glue. So let's see. Okay. All right. That actually went way better than I thought. Okay. So now that leaves the main line that's up here unsupported right now. So if I get rid of this straight piece. All right, so that's where the... See, this is why I have such a dilemma with this, because I got to make sure all the pillars are out of the way. All right. So now I can figure out how to take this curve. I think this is the sharp curve. If I take this curve here, it means I got to move this. I don't want to go too far out. If I curve that, we should be perfect. We should be fine because those are going to be ore cars. I don't need that much. So let me slide you over there so you can see what I'm looking at here. I think this is enough of a turn this is fine. That is, it's actually a crazy curve too. I'm not real thrilled about using it because it's pretty tight. Then if I go with this, which is like a 22, I should be fine. Because I don't want to glue any of this down because the glue sticks like, oh, it like really sticks. Because what I do is I'm actually using particle board for my tabletop. So obviously when you're using glue, and it's just a regular glue, nothing fancy, but it sticks really well. So I gotta get a rail joiner for the end of this. So all this actually should work just fine now. So yeah, all these crossings are just to service back here. And when I say back here is the, I forget what it's called. It's a barge. So that's where the rail barge thing is going to be back there where that rolling mill is. So this is what we're looking at right here. So basically we have the tracks that come around. All three of them head this direction. They go back and service that industry back there. So also there's going to be some stage tracks back there for the ore dock. So the ore dock, remember, is going to come out to the end of this white board. So the ore dock itself is going to be 8 feet long. No, it's actually going to be a little longer than 8 feet, I think. Or it's the same length as a boat. So what happens is these three tracks go back to service that. They'll also merge with this track over here, which does come like this. There's some switches there where that track comes out the back. The reason for that is that's where the cars from the ore boat go back down through there and then can switch up through one of these tracks to go back to the staging yard. So it's super confusing, but I think we're ready to glue all this down now. All right, so for my glue, I'm just using Titebond. Got it at Lowe's. Nothing fancy. So I totally forgot. I got to figure out where I'm going to put this. This is with the support that we kicked out of the main line. So I need to figure out where this goes. I need to make sure it's not going to hinder. Crud. Hinder with the other piece of track. It's fine right there. So I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to start marking exactly where this stuff goes because I need to know where to put the glue. Because once I move it, I'm not really going to know where it goes. That's glued. We're just going to do that. We're going to do that. Can't see. So as most of you know, this is a very new YouTube channel. I'm just here to set up my trains. trying to figure out what's going to work the best, and what's not going to work very well. Because obviously, I don't have the biggest space that I'm dealing with. Obviously, you can see that, but I don't know. We'll see how we can make all this work. So I'm going to set this piece on the upper main line first that we had to take out to make room. I just put glue right across the top. Put some glue down across the bottom. Now with this, I just have to push this out of the way. I want to make sure I've got a super tight bond on this, so we're gonna let that sit like that. Now, I did mention in the past that my wife and I, we own an airsoft business, so we use 5,000 airsoft BBs as weights. That's what we hold all this stuff down with. So, all right, I guess it's time to get to gluing these other pieces. I'm using some of the other 2x4s that are sticking out to kind of hold this too, maybe. Let's see how that works. We're going to put that down. We're going to put some BBs on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to let this sit overnight. Because obviously I'm going to want to get back at it. Put that there. All right. Now I move on to the third piece. I probably should have done the third piece first. Probably would have been a lot easier to reach over. So let me So now I gotta get that back piece. Oh, which means I gotta sneak through here. I'll put that there. Put a little glue on that one. And then we'll put our third board on. Sorry to block the view. All right, so that should be it. Hopefully this is going to work. Let me put some weights on it. Okay, so, all right, so now we have to, now that we have this curved section done, and you have an idea of how this track is laid out and why it needs to come out this way and be where it is, I'm going to get some of this, I think I'm going to get some of this just tacked down, that way I know exactly where it's going, and then, I'm going to have to let it sit overnight, and I'm not going to cut this video, but I'm going to let it sit, let it dry, and then we're going to get into the delivery, which is the box. We're going to get the contents of that box out and kind of go from there. So, yeah. Time to let this stuff dry. Like I said, in the box, it's actually foam incline. So that's what we're going to be using. So I'm going to try to move this around without getting your head crazy. But I also have to get a board to put up on this side to go all the way down. I don't know if you could see the other incline back here. But that is where this whole incline starts, is back there, and gradually goes up. So, we're going to let this glue dry. I'm going to go get some other pieces, see if I can find a piece of wood for that. And we're going to come back and see if this foam incline even works.